hectic skills of balancing both the politics and the technical, creating a proper team and bringing back now the vibe, the soul of what Nairobi used to be and what it can be.
Can we get
and
back
that is
that
what
soul?
is missing.
Can we get back that soul?
Of course, we can.
Is Johnson
We will.
Sakaja the man?
Definitely.
Did you listen to Jeff and Professor Hamo in the morning? Here's what you...
Cheerleaders from both sides. The people around the president and then the people around the deputy president now are the ones who made it worse. Because they started fighting the president and the people around the president started fighting the deputy president, and you saw what happened within the party. You saw what happened even in parliament, attacking even his commercial interests, his businesses, etc. So it just made it worse. If it was left for the two, we'd not have a rift right now. But it's those around who just make a relationship worse and murkier.
And it's gotten so ugly now, Senator, and you still think it's salvageable.
I know them both. And honestly, the president had the right intentions with the handshake, and he has the best intentions for the country. I believe the deputy has as well. And so does Tinga and anyone else, The one thing the president is not going to do is to endorse somebody for 2022. That he will not do. He's a victim of it. When President Moi did to him. And he knows there's always a backlash. There's always some disaffection from and the curse of incumbency. But what he wants is to create a proper environment and a legacy of what he's been able to do, so that the next person picks up from it. So yes, the relationship can be redeemed. They have known each other for years. The relationship. But the politics is another story. And that might be, might have gone beyond. But the relationship needs to be redeemed. And we need that.
Here's the other thing that really bothers a lot of people. The president says one thing, let's say, for example, from Sagani says one thing. Yeah. The deputy immediately responds. I mean, it's a tiff.
Now, I think it's just the past few months where that has started happening. I remember listening in January. I think we were in Vihiga after Mululu. And after what the president said, the next day, they were in Nairobi. And for the first time started responding directly to the president. You don't do that. Let me tell you, a president, even with 1 hour left on the seat, is very powerful. He can mix you up. He's very powerful, even with 1 hour left. Unfortunately, and not just in Africa, even Trump.
You saw Trump in the last hour.
God of honor. I saw people at folks saying that Biden was sworn in at 10 minutes to midday, and it's supposed to be midday. And within those 10 minutes, Trump could have done something, But even with 1 hour left, and that respect is very important. What people forget in this country, two things. Number one, every president we've had has had a blessing from the former president, Number two, people don't realize is that every government that has been formed, especially after the advent of multipartyism, has been formed in the last 3-4 months to the election. Not these 3 years, 2 years we're talking about. Things change. Yeah? Look at 2002. When did the Kibaki Tosha declaration, when was it made?
Very late in the day, a few months.
October, November. October for the December election at Uhuru Park. And that's when NAK, NAK, and LDP came together and formed the Rainbow Coalition.
Correct.
And in 2-3 months, the momentum was insurmountable. And they formed the government. In 2007, I remember very well, I was there. I was in Vijana na Kibaki. I was young. I started, how old was I? I was 20 or something. Yeah? Even forming the vehicle that brought together now KANU and PNU. I mean, and that time it was NAK, where Tuju, I think, was chairman. They were down the road. Was just 2 months of the election that PNU was formed. Yeah? In 2012, for the 2013 election, TNA and URP came together on the 4th of December at Afra Stadium. 4th of December for a March election. And if you ask around properly, they'll tell you even the blessing from President Kibaki came in February.
Whoa.
3-4 months. Yeah? So this thing of 2 years campaigning and saying we know for sure this is going to hakuna kitu hapo. I'm telling you. That's why I'm not kieleweki, I'm not tangetanga. People will say I'm straddling the fence. Let them say what they want to say.
Yeah.
But for me, I know this is a marathon. It is never a sprint. It is not. And by the time you've gone there, umetukanana, umepigana karate kwa stage, you've done everything, and then you find the guy you're fighting he's on the table with you. What will you do? Wow. So I just urge my colleagues, I urge my friends, let's be patient. Let us work for the people. Let us complete our mandates. That are very, it's sacred mandate. Mtu amekuchagua. Alipanga laini. Akasema, please, hamu wewe, utakuwa MP wangu, kwa hii muda, serve me. Si atujitafutia the next one. It's all about that. And so for me, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm too young for this. But how I see it is that we do a great disservice when, it's like you're having lunch and you're already asking what's for dinner. You don't finish your lunch. You plan the next one.
Tell me something. Why so much disrespect for a head of state? I've never seen it at this level.
I feel really bad about it. And I'm not saying that he has also been perfect. Yeah, everyone has their shortcomings. And he's a good friend. The deputy is everyone. And we speak. But even if you don't respect the person, respect the office. Respect the office. Especially if it's the office you want to go for one day. Yeah. Respect the office. You can't say, oh, it's not me, it's the people around me. Yet, in the morning you've sat with them, you're talking points, and you're going to... Kenyans are extremely, extremely gracious people. And I think many times politicians take advantage of that. But Kenyans are extremely gracious. And once they see some... And we're also very conservative people. Once we see some level of disrespect or madharau, and whoever is doing it, people have some sympathy and grace. Look at what Sonko is going through, my governor, former governor. No matter what the charges are, it's getting to a point where saying, "Ay, lakini pia mnafinya sana." Even
for Sonko.
Yeah. Look at what happened with Waititu. Immediately after the guy was, he was impeached, and then he went on. But the glee with which the deputy took over. Look at how things are for him in Kembuna. Things are tough. People are like, no, you danced on someone's grave. Yeah. So there's a lot of grace with our people, and it must not be taken advantage of. And that level of disrespect to the president, I think Kenyans at some point will say no. Even if he's, in the Bible, the story of Noah, and he was a bit drunk, and his kids, one of the sons saw him naked, and he made a fuss about it, and he was cast. But the others came backwards and covered him, and they got a blessing. Even if the father is naked, cover him. Don't go ridicule him. Don't disrespect him. Don't write letters and send to media, send to all. Admonishing him.
Yeah.
There's something that I see that, and I'm a student of history, I've never seen before. A young politician, even an old one, stands at a podium and says, I want to tell the president. You don't do that. There's a way you address, even in the way you address people. Who am I, even as Sakaja, to say, I want to tell the president, I want to advise. No. Kuna vile mambo inafanywa in our society. And I think that issue of respect. But also, that office needs to respect itself as well. There are things that then the holder of that office and those around him should not be engaged in. They should not be engaged in. They should not also start, nitpicking and kutafuta watu na vitu ndogo ndogo. They should not. Fly above, fly at 40,000 feet. Then when you fly there, you will not be hit by manyoni na nini. You stay above the fray.
Yeah.
And that is how it needs to be for there to be order in society.
Tell me something, Senator. You talked about former governor a moment ago, Sonko.
Yeah.
Goodness, how quickly things changed.
Oh, things changed. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that, someone like that, who was very loyal to the president, by the way, for a long time, very loyal. And then, one thing led to another. He switched camps overnight.
It's not even about the switching of camps. Number one, it was the mismanagement in the city. And I raised those issues repeatedly in the Senate. In fact, I remember during his impeachment, I actually looked at the Hansard and I explained, look, of all the 47 senators, the one who's brought issues of his own county, from the matters of not having a deputy, to the Auditor General's reports on corruption or on misuse of funds, to issues of demolitions, to the ban on matatus. I've raised more questions about Nairobi, and people thought it's politics. I'm like, it's not politics. And I said, but this guy is your friend. Well, we're not elected to be friends.
No.
I have a role to oversight, and I'm very happy Senate is back, because now I need to start doing that again for NMS. Because also NMS should not imagine that they just do things with a free hand. No. they must do things properly. For NMS and for Badi and for the acting governor, whoever it is. But when his impeachment came, people expected that one will be the first one to crucify him. Yeah? The tradition in the Senate, and people asked, why did this guy abstain? ETC, we didn't elect you to abstain. The tradition in the Senate has been for the longest time, and not just in Kenya, in every jurisdiction where a senator deals with a certain geographical area, is that when there's a matter of your county, you actually are supposed to take a back seat. Otherwise, it will look like you have an interest that you're pushing. You take a back, after raising the question, you take a back seat. But I had the grace to say, instead of dancing or being the last one to put the nail on the cross, I said, no, I will not be the one to do that. And it was a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If I voted yes, and I was exuberant, I look like I'm enjoying, I'm gleeful at my opponent's, failure or demise or, political whatnot. If I said no, it looked like I'm excusing the impunity that I fought against all this time. So that is why abstaining is a vote. You have to be there to do it. You have to press that button. And Mutula as well did that. I don't know why. What was the reasons why? You'll ask him on JK when you call us next.
I'm calling you very soon.
But the problem is that in Nairobi we've had two false starts. Governor Kidero and Governor Sonko. And we had to fight through during the BBI process. Because then one of the proposals was that Nairobi ceases to be a county.
Right.
As we know it. And then it is under the national government. And I said no. I remember I was on my own. All my MPs had said, you don't touch a comma, you don't touch a full stop, this thing cannot be. I said, no. We cannot say that devolution is the biggest gift to this country, and then 10% of this country, because Nairobi has 4.3 million people in a population of 47, so close to 10%, you're denying them the gift of devolution. I said, let's not deny, because that woman in Mutwini, in Dagoretti, or in Kayole, or in Lavington, needs to hold somebody politically accountable for health and for all those devolved functions that a governor should. So I said, you don't solve a temporary problem with a permanent solution. You don't solve the Sonko problem by removing Nairobi as a county. We can get it right if we get the proper leadership and the proper resources and the goodwill. National government is not for angels and counties are from demons. They're also human beings. But if Badi is doing well, then elect him as your governor. But don't say that only national government is when things work. No. In fact, in many cases, there's more corruption at the national level. Right. But Nairobi needs a special relationship, and the Constitution says it, a special relationship between the county government and the national government because it's a capital.
How do you rate the general so far?
On especially the CBD and infrastructure and, this pavements, etc., very well. He's doing very well. On the social issues is where it's a miss. And that is why people ultimately, move beyond. People don't want a machine. People want a leader. So you can do the hardware, but the software. So I'm not saying we need a dictator, but the people will say it's not just about doing the brick and the mortar. The social issues must be dealt with. You don't someone, yes, I'll do your payment, but also tomorrow I'll do demolitions in Koryobangi, and I'll demolish structures in Shaurimoyo, etc. And because things must be done, there must be a balance. And Nairobi needs a very unique individual. Because once you get someone who's extremely technical, you lose. Once you get somebody who's extremely political, like we've seen, you lose. You need someone with some eclectic skills of balancing both the politics and the technical, creating a proper team and bringing back now the vibe, the soul of what Nairobi used to be and what it can be.
Can we get
and
back
that is
that
what
soul?
is missing.
Can we get back that soul?
Of course, we can.
Is Johnson Sakaja the man?
Definitely. Because right now I'm serving as senator. But when the time comes, I'll be able to explain why and what the plan is and what I know that we can do together. There's not only the magic wand. There's no person who will come and look at the functions of a county government. There's water, there's engineering, there's roads. There's no one who is a doctor and an engineer and who has all those. Nairobi needs leadership, not management. It needs leadership. That you get the best in all of those areas towards a proper vision that is clear, and you make Nairobians actually create the city they deserve.
But listen, Senator, on a serious note, if and you're still in Jubilee, and as are your two the president and his deputy, if you were to sit them down in a room right now, and a serious talk now, 18 months to the election, you sit them both down because you guys were there when this party was formed. You were there at the beginning of this journey. What would you tell the two?
As their younger brother, that I'm disappointed. Not at the performance of government. Because government, for all intents and purposes, again on the brick and mortar, has performed beyond any other government this country has seen. Whether it is on roads, whether it is water, whether it is electricity. If you look at the statistics, and you look at what the connections, the kilometers, on the hardware, has performed more than any other government. But then, on the softer issues, and especially on matters of the economy, in matters of the issues of debt, the issues of pesa komfuko, they have not. And I've raised it before many times with you, that we need to limit the amount of money government can borrow domestically. There's no other solution. You must do a capping, and there's a bill in India, there's a law in India that says no matter what you go do your international debt, but no matter what you do within your budget mix, your debt mix, this is the extent to which you can borrow domestically. Because what has happened, as opposed to the previous government, is then people cannot access credit. Because which bank will give Jeff or me or you money, yet government wants, and it's risk free. Very low risk. But wakati ingine, these guys were hawking even loans. I remember I was in campus. They'd come and say, chukua hii unsecured, furnish your house, do what? They'd come even hawk money at us. And that has been the problem. That there's not been a good mix between your medium-term economic framework in terms of development plans and long-term. So many of the things the president has done will have the effects of the fruits will be seen after a while. Because it takes time for us now to see SGR, this is what it has then brought to us, this many kilometers of road opening up. People are like, why are you doing a road to Moyale and Marsabit? And you don't realize we're going to another market of 140 million people for this country. I remember the time I was talking to the president, I said, this is Thika Road. He said, it's not Thika Road. It is Kenya connecting to the north and opening up, and explained how, look, every city, every town we have in this country was along the railway. That development, infrastructure precedes development. Everyone went around it. And yet we fight every 5 years about 25% of our land. What about the rest of this country? So I'll tell them, I am disappointed, my elder brothers, because in as much as the brick and mortar has been done, we've lost our soul as a country. We've become competitive to a fault, selfish to the core, tribal to the bone. And that is not the dream we had. TNA and URP, that is not the dream we had.